But with the TMZ thing, I found it interesting because things that Kanye said when he first started talking, I was like, yo, where's he going with this? Like, you remember if you watched the video, they start talking to him, asking him questions about the Trump thing or whatever. And he's like, man, I was on pills. And he's like, hold on.
That's the part that had me like, wait a minute.
He's like, hold on, everybody.
Talking about Kanye.
Yeah, he's like, hold on, everybody. Everybody quiet down, listen. And he's like, he's trying to get everybody to listen. And he's like, listen. He's like, I was on pills.
I was scared I had to get lipo.
Yeah, he's like, I was drugged out of my mind. I was drugged out of my mind. He's like,
I was
in the
taking
hospital.
2 pills, the 7 pills, bro.
He's like,
it's the vibes.
He's like, I got lipo. But now, this is one thing that's kind of
I'm sorry, I did not feel sorry for him. Yo, man, I'm sitting there dying laughing. Like, what the hell are you talking about?
But you got to understand, you got to read between the lines, and you got to think about what he's saying. And he's talking about culture. He's talking about culture. Everybody wants to hang on the sensational shit that he said about like slavery's 400 years, but they forgot the rest of the interview. What you just said about the whole liposuction thing, what did he say? He's at TMZ, right? TMZ is the king of all paparazzi, right? What did he say? He said, I got lipo because of all of you.
Yeah, he did say that, yeah.
He goes, Rob didn't go to my wedding because he didn't want to have to deal with you guys.
It's true.
Photos of him. He got back on the plane and went home. People miss out on that. See, Kanye was trying to plant the seed that we're living in a reality that's dictated by the media dictated by all you people. So when everybody ran with the foreign slave comment, they actually fell into what he said.
And that's what he was talking about, even at his concert. Even at his concert, when he does those things, he's doing it for people like TMZ.
Yeah,
he's doing that on purpose. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
He said a lot. He said a lot of things that people didn't talk about. That that you would say, oh, you know, if he was a woman and he would have said, you know, you body shame people, and there would be a whole march about it. They'd be boycotting. They would be boycotting TMZ. But Kanye says it,
and it's like looked at like, okay, it happened to Rob. Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, they look at Kanye like, oh, he's just crazy. But he was saying things that if it was other people, there would be a whole turmoil. But they hung on that one phrase that he said about the 400 years of slavery was a choice, which, like I said, that's like a hot button topic for anybody. You know what I mean? Like that's going to spark.
And he knows how to click them.
He did. So that was a weird.
Because if you think about it, Kanye West and Donald Trump are the same person, man. They know how to get a rise out of people.
And that goes to the Charlemagne interview, which is well over an hour long. But I thought it was a decent interview, and I don't really care for Charlemagne. But like, I thought it was a decent interview because there was parts in the interview. No, listen, I read some people talk about that interview, and I guess depending on how you feel about what Kanye's saying about Trump, you go into the situation wanting to reinforce how you feel. You know what I mean? Like with any situation in life, you want to listen to people who have the same thought process as you because you want to feel reassured about how you're thinking about something. So me, I don't care either way about Kanye or what he's saying about Trump or whatever. I don't really care. But
and that's when you start to get to the truth, is when you go into it not really looking to take sides.
And when because
I don't give a damn about what Kanye said. I don't care what even Kanye said in the interview. But to understand it, to hear something, to go, okay, you know what? I'm not looking at this person's side. I'm not looking at that person's side. I'm going to judge it from how I think.
Right, and the thing with
things are different that way.
Because he said some things that I'd never heard before, that he never ranted about. He talked about Obama, which something that I did not know about him and Obama, which was very interesting, and nobody talked about that. Everybody wants to talk about the 400 years of slavery was a choice thing, but they're not talking about the other things that he said. The shit he said about Obama to me was kind of interesting. So Charlemagne asked him about Obama because he made that comment about how Obama didn't do anything for Chicago, and he didn't help anybody, blah blah. So
he really didn't, though.
And we know he didn't, right? So Charlemagne asked him, "Why'd you say that about Obama not really helping out?" And Kanye had a very interesting response, which I'd never heard before. He said that in 2006 or 2007, I think it was 2006, when Obama decided he was going to run for president, Kanye said, and remember in 2006, Kanye was huge, right? He says that Obama, he wanted to meet with Kanye and Kanye's mother because he wanted Kanye's support. He wanted Kanye to be his celebrity, right? Because he was big at the time. So he said him and his mother met with Obama, and Obama's like, you're my favorite artist. I need you. I want you to, be on the campaign with me. I want you to be behind me, blah, blah, blah. I want you to speak to, basically the younger generation and, be on point with me and my message. So Kanye was like, all right, cool, man, I'm down, He said that what happened was after he got elected, Kanye said that was it. He never heard from Obama again.
Of course.
Who did he start hanging out with? Jay-Z, Beyonce, right? But when he was on the come up, he wanted Kanye's help. So Kanye said that he got the feeling that, Kanye was okay to help you get there, but I'm not good enough anymore. And then he said, remember the whole jackass comment? He said that hurt. He said, to have somebody that came to you and sat down with you and your mother and said, hey, I need you guys. I need you to get behind me, blah, blah, blah. And I did what he wanted me to do. He said, you know what? He could have called me. Well, because Charlemagne said, well, I heard that he was kind of joking and kind of felt pressure just to call you a jackass because, reporters were asking him. And Kanye said, well, he could have called me. He could have called me and said, hey, I really didn't mean that. I was, just playing for them.
That's true.
And he said that would have been cool. That would have been fine. He said, but I wasn't needed any longer. I wasn't good enough any longer. So Charlemagne said, so crazy Kanye wasn't, good enough for Obama any longer. And Kanye said, yeah, I'm like that crazy uncle you can't take anywhere. You just would have thought that they knew I was crazy and I wasn't going to change. But I was okay for them to use me to get there, but they wanted to do it with me now. So he had that whole thing about Obama. And he was really, you know what he said about Obama? He said, this is who Obama is. He said, Obama is that guy who wants to do all these crazy things. But if I go to Obama and I say, hey, let's do something for Chicago. Let's clean up the streets. Let's get it going. You're from Chicago. I'm from Chicago. You're the president. Now let's do this. He goes, it's in one ear, out the other. That's what Kanye said. Kanye said it's in one ear, out the other. He ain't listening. He's not paying me any mind. And he said that's who Obama was. He said he didn't care. And Charlemagne said? Charlemagne said, well, maybe he had the pressure of being the first black president. He couldn't do anything wrong because if he screws up, the rest of us, nobody else can make it.
No, Kanye was pretty much telling everyone that he may have went to Obama already like that.
Right, well, that's what he was saying, kind of like, hey, let's do this Chicago. And
he was kind of telling everybody, like, I already did that without telling them, And
he didn't want to help.
Exactly.
He didn't want to do nothing.
Exactly, because why would he say it like that,
Right.
Kanye's not dumb. He knows how to choose his words. That's why he gets everyone upset, because he knows how to do it.
So then he asked him at the end of the interview why he said he likes Trump, right? And Kanye said, it's not about if I like his message or I like his policies. He said, in a perfect world for me, he said, I like Trump's approach. I like Trump.
Doesn't lie.
I like Trump the campaigner, how he gets everybody all riled up. But he said, I'd rather have Bernie Sanders type of ideals, right? And he said, in a perfect world, that's what I would like. He said that he's connected with Trump. He feels that Trump speaks his mind, whether you like it or not. He's telling you the truth, or he's throwing it out there. And he said, that's who I am. He said, I'm that guy. And he said, that's why I connect with him. And he said, we need more of that. We need more people that are just brutally honest and not afraid to say something and to be different. And that's the other thing he was talking about, being different, going against the grain. But the thing is, what everybody cares about? The 400-year comment. That's all everybody hears. And I'm not defending Kanye. I'm just saying, you can't really bash somebody for what they say unless you pay attention to everything they say in that comment. You know what I mean? Like, if you're going to listen to TMZ and take that 400-year slave comment, you got to listen to the whole 12 plus minutes.
It's true.
And if you're going to take bits and pieces he says out of the Charlemagne thing, you got to listen to the whole hour plus. You got to listen to the whole thing. Everybody picks out, he loves Trump. No, he said some things that are not very positive towards Trump, but he explained why he leans more towards Trump because of situations. And that's life. Life is about a give and take and a bit of understanding. But I can understand why people would be upset. And then that brings me to Joe Budden, right? So Joe Budden's got that new pull-up show, which you've seen, and they talked about the TMZ interview, and he had a couple of people on. And it was so interesting because some of the people there, their view of Kanye and his comments have a lot to do from like a fan's perspective.
No, it's a lot of what the people in my community think. However they feel, I have to ride with that idea.
Right.
And it's like that no matter where you go, in the black community, white community, Latino community, whatever it is. That's just how it is. And I remember with the guy, it was this light-skinned guy, I forgot his name. He said to the girl, so he was telling her the whole time, so why do you feel like that? So why do you want to stop listening to Kanye's music? And he was pushing the idea, is it because of what people think? And when he was saying that, he was kind of right. He was breaking down, I'm not going to stop liking Kanye or buying his sneaker because of what someone else thinks.
Right.
And he made some good points, and I really respected what he was saying. But I've never been the one, man. To be honest, I've never been the one to go. I'm gonna follow the crowd. Even and you can always go back to the Black Lives Matter movement. I believe that's a lot of sensationalism.
Low hanging fruit, man.
Low hanging fruit, exactly.
They try to grab people on a few keywords. Press their buttons.
Mm-hmm.
And meanwhile, it's a bigger thing. There's a lot of other moving parts going on, but people, they get involved, but they're not really sure what they're getting involved in.
Yeah, and they're not showing everything. They don't show. And we spoke about this on one of the other podcasts, but like with things like that, you don't show the brainwashing machine behind it.
Right.
You don't show the person that's funding them. Mm-hmm. Even with the media, this is all media. This is all being done to take our mind completely away. And as we talk about it, I just want people to realize that there's something happening right now that we all don't know.